Now we're getting a look at one of the youngest victims killed in last night's mass shooting, Damarian Benson, just 15 years old. The child's family just spoke with our Stephen Graves. He's live at Mount Sinai Hospital where some of the victims were taken. Stephen.
Brad, that's right. It was between here and Stroger Hospital where so many loved ones were waiting outside, waiting for those updates on conditions of these victims. We know several of them were teenagers hurt. We know today, police saying one, a 14-year-old boy, was shot on accident. On a sidewalk where a hopscotch board is scribbled with chalk.
They just outside. It was nice.
Red police tape now dangles tied to a rail. Blood splatters nearby.
When I get there, they picking them all up off the ground.
Janice Warren's 16-year-old nephew, Davion Wright, one of 5 victims shot here. It is right near Douglas Park in North Lawndale. Chicago police say a gunman fired into a crowd yesterday evening.
He was out there because one of their friends had just died, so he came through to go, just to support and go back home.
So they were out there, like, just, reminiscing, pouring out some liquor for a guy who had just died. So much death in this community. And where are these kids' parents? Where are their parents? This is an aunt. Her son's out. Her son was out. I mean, so this is a parent. And then what do the parents do? To give a parent a little bit of break, like what do you do? Some savage carrying a gun living in your house? Just happens to be your son? What you gonna do, send him to military school? Well, you ain't got no money because you didn't do what you needed to do to have money. That's why you live in a terrible neighborhood. Because you didn't do the things you needed to do. So therefore your kid lives in a terrible neighborhood. So is it the chicken or the egg? It's just a terrible situation. Terrible situation, man. Unfortunately, we have to blame the shooter, who is the kid. Because he's the one with the gun. He's the one who's been arrested a bunch of times. He's the one who's going to brag about killing this kid on social media. But the parents, boy, whew. Man, tough job being a parent of one of these kids when you're just dealing with what it is. You don't have a lot of education. You don't have a lot of resources, which is why you are where you are.
He was out there because one of their friends had just died, so he came through to go, just to support and go back home.
He never made it home, instead rushed to Mount Sinai Hospital, now on a ventilator.
Ambulance coming in, back to back, steady dropping people off.
Bobby Childs later found out his 15-year-old nephew, Damarian Benson, died from a gunshot wound to the head in the same mass shooting. Family members consoled the teen's mother. Damarian was her oldest son.
She's taking it very hard. Very, very, very hard.
This mass shooting was just moments before another one blocks away on Ridgeway. Here, police say people pulled up and shot teens sitting on a porch. A 14-year-old, an innocent victim, was nearby riding in a car with his father, one of 5 victims. And later Wednesday, a party bus in Lincoln Park shot up when gunmen drove up, targeting people inside. A security guard and bus driver among 8 people hit. All should survive.
We are in a battle for the heart and soul of some of these communities as it relates to violence.
Today.
Hold on, what? In July to date, 81 people have been killed. It was 75 when they did that news story. But that news story was like, 2 days ago? Or a day? I think it was yesterday. So just in a day. God just in one day, the numbers aren't valid anymore. But 81 people have been shot and killed in this city this month. That's embarrassing, man. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, literally, just think about that, man. Wow. They might hit 100. You got this weekend. So you had 20 this week so far. So you got 1 week left. They get 20 in the next week. I don't have nothing witty. They might hit 100 murders for the month.
This month alone, and now Chicagoans are demanding.
After a week surrounded by gunfire and crime scene tape, residents say they have had enough.
Yes, 75 people have been shot and killed this month alone, and now Chicagoans are demanding peace. Nate Rogers is live tonight for us on the west side. Nate?
That's right, guys. Chicago police and Lawndale residents came out in droves tonight here on the west side, all calling for peace together. It was about some 300 people. They marched about 8 blocks rallying for peace.
It's scary. It's very, very, very scary.
Who believes her? I believe her. Who's willing to go out on a limb and call her a coon for calling this black community scary? Any takers? Anybody want to call her a butter biscuit eating, a bad witch? Because she's calling this black community full of kings and queens, she's calling it scary. No, better yet, who wants to do an investigation to find out what white people have put her up to this? Who she worked for? Anybody?
It's scary. It's very, very, very scary.
Victoria Parker has 4 sons here in North Lawndale. She says she fears for their lives every single day.
Them walking out that door and getting gunned down. That's my biggest fear.
One people, one race, the human race.
Dozens of Chicago police senior command staff, along with members from at least 7 area churches, marched for peace tonight. It comes after 10 people were shot in 2 separate shootings this past Wednesday near 13th and Christiana. A 14-year-old was killed.
We are here, and we're not leaving.
As young people were engaged through drawing and other activities, concerned residents wanted hard solutions to curb ongoing violence here.
There's no restaurants over here. There's no community organizations over here. And all these kids that's doing this, they know each other.
So, okay, brother, I'll give you that. There's no restaurants over there. Okay, some restaurants looking for a new location. We just found some. A whole handful of restaurants that's looking for a new location. Do you think any of them will consider this neighborhood where there were 3 mass shootings? No, 2 mass shootings in one day. 5 minutes apart. Do you think that any of these restaurants that's looking for a new location will consider this area? Brother, All right. Here we go. Lawndale. North Lawndale. So far, 26 people have been murdered in this area this year. Anybody think somebody wants to move a restaurant over to a place where 26 people have been murdered? And oh, by the way, another 121 have been shot, but they survived.
There's no restaurants over here. There's no community organizations over here. And all these kids that's doing this, they know each other.
Father Larry Dowling of St. Agatha says, along with investing in the community, resources and understanding must go inside of the home.
We've got to get into the homes. We've got to get in and relate to the parents and help them, in terms of improving communication and conflict resolution, deal with some of the verbal and physical violence that happens in the home that pushes youth out onto the streets.
Now, Superintendent David Brown also told residents in order for things to change here, residents must partner with police in terms of making those suspects known that are involved with crime here. In terms of the Lawndale shootings earlier this week, it's still under investigation. No suspects are in custody. We're live on the West Side. I'm Nate Rogers, Fox 32 Chicago.